Hey guys, it's DJ Stocks. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk about Chicago. It's bankrupt, my friends. It's been financially ruined for years. Now it's all coming to a financial head, I'm telling you. Don't buy any stock in Chicago. We're gonna talk about it and we're gonna explain to you why it just got worse. It just got worse. If Chicago was a stock, it would be delisted, my friends. So let's talk about it. This is DJ Stocks teaching you guys how to become rich. Let's bring the music down. There you go. So it's been happening for the last couple of weeks. There's two big issues in Chicago right now. One, they've been working on transforming their tax billing system for the last 7 years. It's taken them 7 years. They're supposed to be done by now, but something happened and the bills are a mess. They are a real mess. It's making people scream. This is a Cook County tax system for real estate. So they were supposed to send out the bills in July. They have yet to mail the bills, and it is now September 24th. September 24th. So, so we're almost 3 months late with the tax bill. And as a result, the taxpayers don't have to pay their taxes. Their second installment of the taxes for 2025. That's great. I'm sure the taxpayers are happy because the first round was a mess where they had overcharged people. There were just issue after issue with the tax bills for the first installment of this year, and they're probably still trying to figure it out. But anyway, the second one has been pushed off. I don't know when they're going to force people to pay their taxes, but the problem now is they have government entities that are owed money by the taxpayer, and they don't have the money. And that becomes a problem when you run out of money. If you were a government entity and you ran out of your last year's money and you don't have any more, you've got a problem. You've got a serious problem. And that seems to be the case for the Firemen's Pension Fund, which ran out of money recently, which also begs the question, if they ran out of extra cash in 2 months, how effective are they being run in the first place? But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about they had to get $20 million bridge loan from the city of Chicago in order to pay the retirees of the Fireman Fund. So things are getting worse. And for a lot of people don't realize, the pension funds in the city of Chicago, the firemen, the police, the city workers and teachers are all under 20% funded. Let me say that again. They are under 20% funded and pretty much bankrupt to begin with. But no one's saying that. They just report that they're woefully underfunded and they're hoping to get better in the future. That's the tagline that they get. So let's dip into this news report about what's going on, just to prove you that there is a problem.
That's been bandied about, but there is sort of a moment here. It's been a little bit different than in the past. Wall Street Journal opined on Chicago pensions on the brink. Now, that's a headline that we've seen for decades, which is why people don't believe it's real. But this was real. A temporary computer cost delay in the collection of property taxes left the Chicago Firemen's Annuity and Benefit Fund without enough cash to cover current retirement checks. So BLM Brandon had to step in with $28 million in short-term loans to save the fund from having to sell assets to cover the shortfall. Chicago's 4 public pension funds among the nation's most underfunded. And in July, a memo emailed to Deputy Governor for Budget and Economy Andy Manar, as a former state legislator, part of the problem, continues to be part of the problem. Chicago's CFO, Jill Jaworski, explained that the proposed changes in the pension benefits, the legislation that Governor Pritzker signed to enhance firefighter and police benefits.
Chris Christie of the Midwest, J.B. Pudster.
Police and firefighter funds to under 20%. Many actuaries consider a funded ratio under 20% to be technically insolvent. That's what the City of Chicago's Chief Financial Officer, Jill Jaworski, wrote in a memo to the governor's office. Many actuaries consider a funded ratio under 20% to be technically insolvent, and so it is now. And so we have a moment like we had with the firefighters fund. More of this to follow, I presume.
Yeah, I think we can't stress it enough, and we've been warning about this problem. It's a deepening problem. Those pensions in Chicago continue to eat more and more of the budget, but now it's reached a point where, and this is a case where you have some kind of exogenous event, and suddenly the pensions don't have enough money, and they have to borrow. And this is a precise case where we're seeing just how little money those pension plans have, right? Because if they had lots of money, like any pension fund, if they're a normally functioning pension fund, they wouldn't need to borrow money. They would just sell some stock and pay it out. In this case, they can't do that, and it tells you how bankrupt it is. And the sad story is, here we are talking. You were talking earlier about the police morale. Well, here you're talking about police and fire pensions that are the cusp of running out of money.